Hey guys, it's Jiggliepoof here. So today I wanted to talk about something really important to me. It's something that has affected me for a long time, and it's something that I feel like we should speak about more often, because the more we speak about it, the more people can start to accept the reality of it. And what I'm talking about today is eating disorders. So I'm going to tell you a bit about my story, and then also hopefully by hearing my story maybe some of you will be able to relate to it and feel sort of heard and not alone. And if you don't have an eating disorder and you can't relate to this, then hopefully it'll help you understand what it's like to have an eating disorder and to help those around you who do have one. So I was a pretty chubby child growing up, and I remember being teased for it. Like, people called me whale, or like said I was like looked pregnant and all that kind of thing, and it started to affect me. When I was in my teen years, I remember it started off really innocently. I decided to start like dieting to sort of like take control of my weight and get more confident. So it always starts off innocently like this, what I found with most people. It always starts with wanting to eat healthier or cut down on your calories or cut down on the amount of food you're eating. So I remember I would skip breakfast every now and then, or I'd skip lunch, or I would eat less than I was before, and it started off quite innocently, but then I started to lose weight, and as soon as I started losing weight it became quite addictive. So people started becoming a lot more nice to me. I started getting a lot of attention from people. I got a lot more compliments and a lot less sort of bullying. People just started taking notice of me and being nice towards me, and this became like quite addictive to me. So I lost a lot of weight, and yeah, I really loved it. People were really nice. Everyone complimented me on how nice I was looking, not realizing that I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. Then it started to get really dangerous, and I started skipping a lot of meals, and then that turned into just like not eating for days on end. And the worst part about an eating disorder for me is that you never, like, the goal is for you to feel better about yourself and to feel comfortable in your own body, but that never ever happens when you have an eating disorder. You never feel comfortable and happy with your own body. I remember I weighed in like the 40 kgs mark, and like I was really small and skinny, but I still didn't believe it. And I know that it sounds silly, and to people that haven't had an eating disorder you might not understand this at all, but I was never happy with what I looked like, and that is the destructive part about eating disorders. It's this way we try to make ourselves feel good about our body, but we never end up feeling that way, and it's very sad. So I started obsessing over my body and how it looked, and it became quite a problem. The eating disorder started taking over like my life basically. It never got to like a dangerous point where I was on the verge of dying, like I know a lot of people have experienced. So I don't have the worst eating disorder story in the world, but I definitely have a lot of experience with it. And it would make me do silly things like lie to relatives, because I mean, your relatives, obviously you don't want them to know that you have a problem, so you do stuff like say, oh, I'll go to this person for dinner, or I'll be here for lunch, and you're not doing that because you're hiding, because you don't want people to know that you aren't eating. And then I started like throwing my food away. My mum would make me lunch because she was worried about my weight, and she would just make sure that she packed a nutritious lunch for me, and I would end up throwing it away. Yeah, it started to really make me do things that were very out of character for me. And some of the negative effects that you have when you have eating disorder is that I lost my period. I think I lost my period for like 10 months or so, roundabout. My skin got really dry. I started losing my hair. It got really dry and brittle as well, and just not very healthy. There's a lot of negative side effects. Even though you lose hair on your head and your hair becomes less healthy here, you start getting a lot more hair all over your body, and it's because your body's trying to keep you warm, because you can't keep your body warm when you have no body fat. I also experienced a lot of mood swings, so I was angry a lot of the time, and I lashed out to people that I loved, which wasn't really great. And ironically, I found myself thinking about food a lot. I would count calories, I would obsess over it, and I would just be, because you're so hungry that you think about food all the time, but you almost see it as this terrible thing that like shouldn't be in your life, and it's a very, very sad way of looking at food. I also was afraid to go out with friends on the weekends because I was afraid that there would be a time where we'd go for lunch or have a meal together and food would literally make me anxious. So I was avoiding going out with friends at the time. It kind of sucks you into this hole. But luckily after a while I did start to get better, and a lot of it had to do with just trying to be healthier in general, and also when I started to go vegan I started to eat a lot healthier, and when I started to eat healthier I wanted to look after my body. But it also, as much as it related to me trying to be healthier, eating disorders pretty much always have a lot to do with your mental state at the time, and they have a lot to do with your mental health. So if you find that you're having a lot of stress in your life, or that you're depressed, or you have just a lot going on, a lot of the time people with eating disorders sort of use eating disorders as a way to try and take control of their own lives. So as soon as I started to clear things up mentally with stressing less and looking after my mental health, that is when I started to get better. So definitely the first thing you need to look at in your life if you have an eating disorder is your mental health, and trying to fix whatever it is that is stressing you out or making you depressed or whatever it is. But now let's fast forward to probably like a few months ago. I found that over the past few months I have started to revert back to my old habits, which is not good. So I'm sure you've noticed I haven't been uploading a lot of food content on this channel for a while now, and it's because it felt hypocritical for me to go and say like this is what I eat and this is what I do, when it wasn't. And well, it was when I first started this channel, but then I started slipping back into old habits, and I felt I couldn't be a hypocrite and post about food content when I was struggling with something like this without talking about it. So basically why I'm making this video is because I want people to know that eating disorders are very prominent in our society, and it's something that we need to start talking about, and they're more common than you might think. I think that more people are affected in the world than we even like half know about, because it's such a taboo topic that nobody really wants to speak about. But we need to start bringing these topics to life so that people don't feel so alone. And part of the reason that these eating disorders and any disorders have such a hold over people is because we feel so alone in them. And I don't want you guys to feel alone in them, because there are other people out there who are struggling with them, and we should start talking about it. So what I'd like to do is a month food diary challenge, and basically what it entails is me uploading what I eat for breakfast, lunch and dinner and in between for the whole of March, so that I hold myself accountable for making sure that I eat well again and I don't slip back into these old habits, and so that you guys, if you are struggling with eating disorders, you can see what I eat to try and recover from something like this, and we can all sort of work together to hold ourselves accountable, to support each other, and just make sure that we're like forming good food habits, because it really can spiral out of control really quickly. Something that I found helped me a lot last time I had this issue was people holding me accountable for what I was eating, and my mom would check up on me all the time to make sure that if I was away from the house for dinner, that she would check up with people that I'm with to make sure that I'm eating, and she would check up with me, did you have breakfast, did you have lunch? And it might sound a bit controlling, but it's exactly what you need when you're struggling like this, because you don't have control and you need help. So this is a way of holding myself accountable, and so that you can hold yourself accountable for what you're eating, and make sure that you're balancing out your diet, and make sure that you are taking care of yourself, because it's important. So if you'd like to join me on the challenge, you can follow me on Instagram, it's @Jiggliepoof, and I'll also be hopefully posting up some nice recipe videos and what I eat in a day videos here too, so keep following me here as well. I will leave the link to my Instagram in the description below. I'll also leave links to some articles that could help you if you are struggling with an eating disorder, or you know someone that is struggling with an eating disorder. Remember that as strong as we are, we can't do everything alone, and we do need support from other people, and that's okay. So leave a comment down below if you also need some support, and I'll do my best to help in any way that I possibly can. Otherwise, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!